Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video. There's an old saying in the Marine Corps. There are three kinds of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. Which one are you? Because today we're talking about one of the most important traits of leadership and personal achievement: initiative. The Marine Corps defines initiative as taking action in the absence of orders. In simple terms, initiative means you don't have to be told everything that needs to be done. You see it, you recognize it, and you act. And whether you're talking about leading Marines, building a business, strengthening a marriage, improving your health, or changing the direction of your life, very little happens until somebody decides, I'll take responsibility, I'll make the first move. Welcome to another episode of Marine Success Traits, where we take the leadership traits I learned during my 20 years as a United States Marine and connect them with Napoleon Hill's principles of personal achievement. Today, we're talking about initiative. Initiative is where leadership begins. One of the first things you learn as a Marine is that eventually there won't be somebody standing beside you telling you exactly what to do. You are expected to think. You are expected to make decisions, and you are expected to act. That's leadership. Anybody can follow a checklist when everything is going according to plan. Leadership shows up when something needs to be done and nobody's told you what to do it yet. You assess the situation. You use good judgment. You make a decision, and then you move. That's initiative. President Theodore Roosevelt expressed this idea beautifully. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Notice what isn't included in that statement. When everything is perfect, when you have enough money, when you're completely confident, when somebody gives you permission. No. Do what you can with what you have where you are. That's initiative. This is where the Marine Corps leadership traits and Napoleon Hill's philosophy come together almost perfectly. One of Hill's 17 principles of success is personal initiative. Hill describes personal initiative as the power that starts action and inspires us to complete it and complete what we begin. Think about that. You can have goals, you can have knowledge, you can have talent, you can have a great plan, you can even have a burning desire. But until you act, nothing changes. Hill wrote, "No man is free until he learns to do his own thinking and gains the courage to act on his own personal initiative." That's powerful. Because Hill isn't simply talking about getting things done. He's talking about personal responsibility. Stop waiting for someone else. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for conditions to become perfect. Stop waiting until you feel ready. At some point, you've got to move. Initiative connects the other principles. So here's what makes personal initiative so important. It activates many of Hill's other principles. Number one, definiteness of purpose. First, you need to know where you're going. Initiative without purpose can become nothing more than activity. You can be busy all day and accomplish absolutely nothing that moves you forward in life. A definite major purpose gives initiative direction. Ask yourself, what am I trying to accomplish? And then, what can I do today to move toward it? Not next month, not someday, today. Purpose identifies the objective. Initiative takes the first step. Secondly, personal initiative. Then comes the decision to act. Hill taught that successful people don't continually wait for circumstances to move them. They move circumstances. There's a tremendous difference between saying, I'd like to, and saying, I will. I'd like to lose weight. I'd like to repair that relationship. I'd like to start that business. I'd like to write that book. I'd like to get my finances under control. I'd like to discover what I'm supposed to do with the next chapter of my life. Fine. What are you going to do about it? That's where initiative begins. Thirdly, going the extra mile. Initiative also works hand in hand with Hill's principle of going the extra mile. Why? Because people with initiative don't ask, what's the minimum I have to do? They ask, what else can I do? That's a completely different mindset. The Marine who constantly has to be told what needs to be done isn't usually the Marine we're looking at for greater responsibility. We're watching the Marine who finishes the assignment and then looks around and says, what's next? That's the person you remember. That's the employee who becomes invaluable. That's the entrepreneur who separates himself from the competition. That's the leader others begin to trust. Initiative says, don't simply meet the standard. Look for an opportunity to raise it. Fourth, self-discipline. But initiative has another partner. It's self-discipline. Because taking action once is easy. Taking action consistently is harder. You can get excited on Monday. You can set a goal, buy the book, join the gym, create the plan, make the announcement. That's not transformation. Transformation happens when you wake up on Thursday and you're tired. Nobody is watching. Motivation has disappeared, and you still do what you said you were going to do. That's where initiative becomes discipline. And discipline, repeated long enough, becomes character. Fifth, accurate thinking and judgment. There's another side of initiative that leaders must understand. Initiative does not mean recklessness. It doesn't mean charging ahead without thinking. That's why Hill's principle of accurate thinking and the Marine leadership trait of judgment are so important. Before taking action, ask, what are the facts? What is the mission? What are the risks? What resources do I have? What are the likely consequences? And then make the best decision you can with the information available. A leader doesn't become paralyzed because he doesn't have perfect information, but he also doesn't confuse impulsiveness with initiative. Think accurately, exercise your judgment, then act decisively. What is the enemy of initiative? Procrastination. Procrastination. How many things in your life have you known you needed to do but haven't done? The phone call, the conversation, the application, the workout, the business idea, the apology, the financial decision, the doctor's appointment, the first page of a book, the decision to finally change direction. We tell ourselves, I'll get to it. Now isn't a good time. I need to think about it. I need a little more information. I'll start it on Monday. And Monday becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. And eventually you look back and realize the opportunity didn't disappear. You simply never acted on it. Martin Luther King Jr. said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. That's initiative. You don't need every answer. You need the courage to take the next step. Initiative requires courage. Sometimes we procrastinate because we're lazy, but often we procrastinate because we're afraid. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of making the wrong decision, fear of looking foolish, fear of losing something. So we wait. But here's something I learned as a Marine. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite it. You don't have to feel confident before you act. Sometimes confidence comes because you acted. Action produces experience. Experience produces competence. And competence produces confidence. And confidence makes the next action easier. That's how momentum begins. During my Marine Corps career, I learned that one of the quickest ways to identify a potential leader was to watch what happened when nobody gave him instructions. Did he stand around waiting, or did he look for what needed to be done? Did he identify a problem? Did he offer a solution? Did he help another Marine? Did he prepare for what was coming next? Did he take responsibility? That's when you begin seeing leadership potential. And here's the important part. You don't need rank to demonstrate initiative. You don't need a title. You don't need authority. Leadership begins long before somebody pins something on your collar or puts a title beside your name. Leadership begins when you accept responsibility for producing a result. You know, the same thing is true in life. Maybe you're not leading Marines. Maybe you're leading something. You're leading your family. You're leading employees. You're leading clients. You're leading an organization. And most important, you're leading yourself. And self-leadership requires initiative. Nobody's coming to organize your life for you. Nobody is coming to discover your purpose for you. Nobody is coming to exercise for you. Nobody is coming to repair your relationships for you. Nobody is coming to build your dream for you. People can help you. People can coach you. People can encourage you. A mastermind alliance can strengthen you. But eventually, you have to act. As Hill's philosophy reminds us, other people are more likely to support us once we demonstrate that we are willing to take initiative ourselves. So here's your challenge this week. I want you to identify one thing you've been putting off. Not 17 things, one thing. Something you already know needs to be done. Maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's a decision, maybe it's your health, maybe it's your finances or a relationship. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's finally determining your definite purpose. Write it down, then answer this question. What is one action I can take in the next 24 hours? And here's the rule. It must be an action. Not think about it, not research it someday, not consider my options. Something you can physically do. Make the call, schedule the meeting, write the first page, walk the first mile, send in the application, create the budget, have the conversation, ask for help, whatever it is. Take the first step. Marines are taught initiative because battlefield conditions don't always allow you to wait for instructions. Frankly, life doesn't either. Opportunities appear. Circumstances change. Problems develop. Doors open. Doors close. And sometimes you simply got to make a decision and move. Napoleon Hill understood that success doesn't belong exclusively to the smartest person, the most educated person, or even the most talented person. It often belongs to the person willing to take purposeful action. So remember the progression. Purpose gives you direction. Accurate thinking helps you evaluate the situation. Judgment helps you make the decision. Initiative gets you moving. Self-discipline keeps you moving. Going the extra mile separates you from the crowd. And persistence keeps you moving when things get difficult. That's not just a formula for success. That's a formula for character. So this week, stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting until everything's perfect. See what needs to be done. Make the decisions and take the initiative. Because leaders don't wait for things to happen. They step forward and make things happen. And if you're listening to this today and you know there's an area of your life where you've been waiting too long to take action, I want to challenge you to do something about it. On October 1st, we began the 17 Club 90-day transformation experience. 90 days of structure, accountability, proven success principles, and deliberate action designed to help men stop drifting and start living with greater purpose, discipline, and direction. It's for men ready to apply what they already know and take initiative in their own lives. If that sounds like you, visit the17clubman.com and schedule a conversation with me. Don't wait another 90 days hoping something's going to change. Take the initiative. I'm Frank Menard, founder of the 17 Club, and this has been another video of Marine Success Traits. Remember, character determines behavior. Behavior determines results. And initiative is where results begin. I'll see you next time. Have a great week. We'll talk soon. Bye.